Welcome to CMA. I'm your host, T.H. Culhane. Let's talk about the ecology of the North. The historical imagination of the global North's empire created fears about the unconquered Celtic Druid tribal landscapes of Northern Europe and the great forests of North America, where the indigenous tribes also worshipped trees and lived in a much finer balance with their ecosystems, and they weren't at all happy with the idea of newcomers obliterating and changing the landscapes, and so always rebelled. So the empire struck back and used those fears to start one of the first deliberate large-scale climate change projects in history through the wholesale clearing of trees and draining of swamps, which, by the way, is just a dirty word for beautiful and carbon-sequestering wetland ecosystems. All gone now. This section of the course explores the ecological and political realities and perspectives and histories of the global North that have led to its being, on the one hand, the most powerful engine of economic, political, military, and social influence, and on the other hand, a land of indisputable ecological concern, as the once vast temperate and boreal forests and the deep carbon and nutrient-rich soils they nourished continue to fall to the axe and the bulldozer, and the long undisturbed permafrost and tundra and ice flow habitats begin to melt and add gigatons of heat-trapping methane and CO2 into the atmosphere. But lest the dark past and present of the ecological North disturb you, let me bring in our field correspondent, Brick Wallace, to shed some light on some of the great solutions also occurring in the North.
Thanks, TH. I'm standing here in a bog in an uninhabited part of Siberia. Yeah, thanks for sending me in the middle of a pandemic to Siberia, Culhane. I'm sure I won't catch anything here except a cold. But it's okay. This place is fascinating. Peatlands in Siberia and other places like Ireland and Canada, you could have sent me to Ireland, by the way, have been net carbon sinks since the early Holocene and can continue to give us that service today. So you see, our modules, of course, are not about doom and gloom, and each one invites you to apply specific and regionally appropriate drawdown solutions from our textbook, Drawdown, the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming, which you can find online in the cloud. Oh yeah, the cloud. So let's get to it. All right, now let's see. A good one, really good one for the global North would be polluter or peatland protection and restoration, ranked way up there as drawdown solution number 13, promising a net carbon reduction by 2050 of 21.57 gigatons CO2 with 1,230.38 gigatons protected from ever getting into the atmosphere if we save what remains. But to get there, we have to stop mining it, for Pete's sake. Pun intended. Because currently, here in the North, particularly in Russia and Ireland, peat moss is actually used as a fossil fuel for heating and electrical energy. In Canada, meanwhile, they unsustainably mine it as a fossil source of fertilizer. And that's got to stop. By the way, Canada would have been fine too, really. Back to you, Culhane, snug in your comfortable, warm studio.
Thanks, Brick. Try to stay warm, but don't burn any peat to do so, okay? There's also plenty of biogas under that permafrost. This is a picture of me igniting some of that biogas on a frozen lake in Alaska. So I suggest that you get to work harnessing that. Now, I don't want to get bogged down in the details, but using thermokarst biogas and saving peatlands are just a few of the many simple ways of keeping our climate stable and even reversing climate change. And this course is a journey through those many solutions. See what you can pull down from the drawdown cloud.